Hello. Today I'm interviewing my mother, who is a baby boomer. What year were you born?
1953.
Okay. Now, we're going to go over the different situations and how high school was like back in when you went to high school compared to now. Do you get that?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right. And other stuff around that time. Like anything that can really happen while you're in high school. All right? Okay. What were the different punishments, like, compared to now with, like, whatever you do and, like, if you did something bad, right? Let's say you skip school. What would be your punishment compared to now? Now you would, like, if you skip a class, you would have 2 detentions at lunch with your principal. What is different between now and then?
I only skipped school once, and all the school did was phone my home and inform my family that I had skipped school.
Is there anything else?
Nothing else. No. No punishment.
All right. What about, like, different punishments? Like, maybe
We had they used detentions.
how were detentions caused?
From acting up in class, mostly. If you were acting out in class, you got a detention. But it could only last so long because when I went to high school at Curtis, we took the bus. They couldn't keep anybody any longer than the late bus. Any later than the late bus.
Did you ever have, like, detention during lunch or something? Like, during break?
No, it was after class. After class.
Oh, okay. All right. That's good. Okay. Where would be the more popular family restaurants or family places that you would go to?
Just regular restaurants. The takeout places for, I guess, if you went with your family, you went to a restaurant. If you hung out with your friends, you'd go to a drive-in restaurant.
So, like, a fast food.
Yes.
All right. And then, like, so you'd go for an expensive restaurant sort of thing for family.
Family atmosphere, yeah.
Oh, all right. Thank you. What were the opinion on racist remarks, as in, like, color or the background of someone? How was that dealt with, or how was that obliged around your peers?
When I went to high school, there wasn't any colored people at my school. So you wouldn't notice any prejudice there because there was nobody there at my school to be prejudiced with.
What about religious backgrounds?
Never paid much attention to it.
Oh, all right. What were more popular hangout spots around your high school with your friends? Like, when you hung out with friends, like, did you hang out with friends a lot after school? Or, like, before school-ish?
No, because we took the bus.
Oh, so you really never got any... Okay, that kind of blew that question up. Okay.
At Bowmanville High School, no. When you left school, you went home.
Oh, that's dumb. That's dumb. Okay, how were vehicles different from then and now?
Not as many students had their own vehicles.
Not as many students had their own vehicles. What about the parents?
There's usually only one vehicle per family. There wasn't a lot of two-vehicle families.
Yeah, that would make sense. How were dances at the school? If there were, like, dances. Like, or, like, dances in general. Like, how many people would attend, like, if you had to pay for it or something? Like, if you're going to attend a dance, how many people, roughly, would there be attending the dance? Maybe.
The dances were quite crowded.
Yeah.
They were quite crowded. Even though when you lived at like I say, when we went to Curtis, you had to get rides to the dances, and they were still, a lot of people went to the dances. Lots of people. And they danced.
Yeah, it's kind of different from now. Like, not a lot of people show up. Not a lot of people dance. Just stand there, look at stuff. What were some bad things that went on in high school? Like pot or like drinking or like hooliganation stuff?
When I went to school, booze would have been the main drug of choice. Well, it is a drug, right? Alcohol's a drug, right? Of choice, there wasn't as much narcotics in the school as there is now. There was very little, and there was a very minute part of the population of school that even used drugs, other than alcohol, and they didn't usually use it at school. There was very little of anything like that at school.
So pretty much at school, you pretty much behaved like perfect, except for when you acted out. Not you, but students.
Yeah.
What were different TV shows? How were they different back then? Oh.
Very family oriented. No swearing. Just a regular family. Mom, dad, two and a half kids, like a dog. Just that. Just very.
What about the radio?
Pop music.
Pop music usually on the radio?
Yeah. Country and Western on the country and Western stations, and rock and roll on the other.
How was dressing? How was like that different from now?
Girls didn't wear slacks to school. You either wore a skirt or a dress. That's the way you dressed. You did not wear slacks. You weren't allowed.
You weren't allowed to wear pants. Slacks means pants.
No slacks. I mean, no slacks. No. No.
Why is that?
Because that was the dress code.
There was a dress code?
Yeah.
What about for the boys? Males.
Did you? They just dress the same. Like they wear jeans, t-shirt.
Could they wear a dress?
Very funny. No.
What about hairstyles?
Guys had long hair. Yeah.
Did girls have short?
No, I had long hair. I had long hair. I had different hairstyles, I guess, but I don't know. Casual. It was casual. No one had mohawks or anything like that. Just regular haircuts.
What about color? Did they have color then? Like, I know they had color, but like, didn't have TV color, obviously, but like not yet. I mean, like color in their hair.
Some people dyed their hair, Thatcher, but they didn't have blue hair or green or red or
Pink.
Or pink or anything like that. No.
Anything else you'd like to say?
Oh, there was always peer pressure.
Peer pressure to do what?
If you were somewhat different, you stood out a bit.
How different?
There was a bigger difference in people's. You could tell who came from a low income family as opposed to somebody who didn't.
Would that be from what they wore?
Yes. You could tell. You could tell. It would stand. That was a difference. It was more. Nowadays, you can't really tell so much, but and then there was a big difference because most people only had one income in their households. So anybody that had more than that, their children dressed a lot I guess you'd say, yeah, not necessarily nicer, but more up to date.
How was it with sex back in high school? Like, how was sex taken with, and how was it dealt with, and what was there a lot of it, or what?
There wasn't a lot of it. We didn't have the birth control that is readily available now. They didn't have the pill, for starters, and you had to be very careful with your reputation. There was none of this, oh, I'll having sex with randomly with whomever you pleased, because you would get a reputation. If you got a reputation of being sluttish, people didn't want to be around you because they didn't want people to think that they were sluttish too. So a girl really had to watch her P's and Q's, because once your reputation was gone, nobody, it was not a real good thing then.
What about the males? How did they take it? Like, bad for them also, or just not as bad?
Not as bad, but most young girls didn't really actually want to be around a guy that'd been around a lot either, because they didn't want to be put in that position, and that would be the only reason that certain fellows would go out with the girl, and everybody knew it, so they didn't want to. It affected how popular they would be too.
So it's a lot more about popularity back then, instead of just having your group and not caring about your popularity and caring about who you're actually hanging around with. Like, trying not to piss them off. Where people don't really care. Like, now, Donald, he could be the biggest loser in the world, right? And I wouldn't really care. He's my friend. Screw it. And then, would that be different from then to now?
Perhaps. I had some friends that were a little bit on the promiscuous side, but I liked them. There were certain about them I didn't change the way I felt about them, but it did other people, and other people would whisper, things like that. But it could stick to you.
So, like, they spread secrets about you, or like about them.
Just talk, a lot of gossip.
All right. That ends that question.